2 millennia, fires, earthquakes, empires collapsing, and barbarians at the gates. Everything around it turned to rubble and dust. Yet, this building, a massive concrete drum crowned by a hole in the sky, stands today virtually unchanged. This is not just architecture, this is the story of history's ultimate survivor. To understand how the Pantheon survived, you first have to understand how it died. Twice. The story begins not with a dome, but with a standard Roman temple commissioned by Marcus Agrippa in 27 BC. It was a beautiful but typical structure, dedicated to the gods and honoring the first emperor, Augustus. But early Roman buildings were often victims of their own city's density. In 80 AD, a great fire swept through the Campus Martius and reduced Agrippa's structure to ash. It was rebuilt, only to be struck by lightning and burned down again in 110 AD. The site was cursed. The structure was fragile. Any other location would have been abandoned to ruin. But then came the architect-emperor Hadrian. A philosopher and a lover of all things Greek, Hadrian decided to rebuild it one last time, not as a standard temple, but as something revolutionary. He didn't just replace the building, he engineered a survival mechanism into its very bones. And he did it using a single, incredible material, Roman concrete. We're all used to concrete today, but the Romans' version, what we call opus cementitium, was different. It was an engineering secret that allowed them to do the impossible. Hadrian used this ancient concrete to cast the entire interior space, creating a perfect sphere, 43 meters wide, 43 meters high. It was a representation of the universe with its single central opening, the oculus, as the sun. But how do you make a dome that massive stand up without any internal supports? The genius is in the weight. The further up the dome you go, the lighter the material gets. At the base, they used dense travertine and heavy rock. Higher up, they swapped that for lighter, porous volcanic rock like tufa. And right at the top, near the oculus, they used pumice, a stone so light it almost floats. It's a trick of decreasing density, a kind of internal balancing act that transfers the weight perfectly, allowing the dome to essentially hold itself up. This structural trick is amplified by the magnificent sunken panels or coffers covering the dome's interior. Most people assume the coffers are merely decorative, but they are crucial. By carving out 5 rings of 28 recessed squares, over 140 cuts of diminishing size, the builders removed huge amounts of weight from the shell. The coffer system works like a permanent internal skeleton, distributing stress and reducing overall mass by approximately a third. They are the visible signature of its internal engineering safety net. Hadrian also built massive brick relieving arches and voids into the cylindrical walls, the drum beneath the dome. These aren't hidden, they're woven into the structure to redistribute the massive downward and outward thrust, diverting pressure away from weak points. It's a system of checks and balances designed to anticipate failure over millennia. This wasn't just construction, it was a cosmic, concrete, and gravity-defying feat. Hadrian built it to last forever. But the true test of time came not from engineering, but from faith. And here is the truly hidden detail. The columns on the porch, those single-piece granite monoliths, were originally intended to be even taller. Hadrian's builders ran into logistical hell. They sourced the columns from Egypt, transported them on barges across the Mediterranean, and hauled them up the Tiber River. But when they reached Rome, they realized the columns they had were a few meters too short for the original plan, forcing them to make the portico slightly shallower than intended, a perfect monument built around a shipping error. By the 5th century, the Roman Empire was collapsing. The barbarian invasions weren't just attacks on cities, they were attacks on symbols. Across Rome, pagan temples were looted, defiled, and torn apart for their valuable marble, bronze, and stone. The ancient world was being recycled into the medieval world. The Temple of Jupiter, the Temple of Venus, all of them fell into ruin. But the Pantheon survived the single most destructive force in its history: neglect and theft. Why? Because of a single diplomatic move in 609 AD. The Byzantine Emperor Phocas gave the structure to Pope Boniface IV. The Pope did what was considered unthinkable at the time. He didn't tear it down, he consecrated it, dedicating it to Christian martyrs, giving it a new life, Santa Maria ad Martyrs. This change in status was the ultimate survival strategy. It meant the building was no longer a pagan monument to be destroyed. It was a holy place to be protected. The switch was strategic. By moving the bones of martyrs from the Roman catacombs into the Old Temple, the Pope effectively performed a spiritual exorcism, driving out the pagan deities and ensuring the structure could not be destroyed for purely religious reasons. However, even the Church sometimes cannibalized its own. Over the centuries, popes stripped the building of some of its ancient materials. The gorgeous gilded bronze tiles that covered the dome's exterior were removed by the Byzantine Emperor Constans II in the 7th century. He was so thorough that he even tried to ship them back to Constantinople, only for his loot to be seized in Sicily. And perhaps the most famous piece of theft occurred in the 17th century when Pope Urban VIII removed the massive bronze rafters from the portico ceiling, some 200 tons of metal, to use for Bernini's baldacchino over the altar in St. Peter's Basilica. This monumental looting, sanctioned by a pope, sparked outrage, giving rise to the famous quote often attributed to a Roman passerby at the time, "Quod non fecerunt barbari, fecerunt barbarini." What the barbarians did not do, the Barberini, Urban VIII's family name, did. It's a bitter epitaph to the price of preservation, trading the ancient integrity of one building for the glory of another. Despite these colossal losses, the structure itself, Hadrian's original shell, remained intact. The continuous unbroken use as a church was its permanent guardian. Here's a fact few realize. The Pantheon's floor is concave. It dips inward toward the center. This is a subtle but essential part of the original design. Because the oculus is always open, rain and snow fall directly onto the floor. The Romans installed 22 drainage holes across the floor's surface, and the entire floor slopes inward to ensure that any water flows directly into the ancient drainage system below, keeping the structure dry to this day. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the secrets of Roman survival, kindly like and subscribe. It helps us bring more incredible stories of engineering and history right to you. The Pantheon's job as a survivor wasn't done. After the unification of Italy in the late 19th century, it took on a new secular role as a national mausoleum. It became the final resting place of Italy's first kings, Victor Emmanuel II and his son Umberto I. But the most famous person interred there is none of them. It's Raphael, the Renaissance master. When he died in 1520, he asked to be buried in the Pantheon, a testament to how revered the building was even then, a flawless symbol of the classical perfection he tried to emulate. Raphael's tomb started a trend, with many other renowned Renaissance artists and architects choosing the Pantheon as their final resting place, including Annibale Carracci and Baldassare Peruzzi. They wanted their eternity to be spent in what they considered the perfect human-made structure. What's truly magical is how the building still tells time. On April 21st, the traditional founding day of Rome, the sun shining through the oculus hits a metallic grille directly above the main entrance. This moment of solar alignment was designed to frame the emperor in a column of light as he stood in the doorway, creating a magnificent, almost divine spectacle for the crowd gathered outside. It was a yearly reminder of the emperor's connection to the heavens, turning the structure into a piece of imperial propaganda. Today, the Pantheon is more than a church or a tomb. It's a living textbook. It's the reason we understand what Roman concrete was truly capable of. Its engineering secrets are still being studied. Modern buildings like St. Peter's Basilica, the U.S. Capitol Dome, and countless others all owe a debt to Hadrian's blueprint. The Pantheon is the ultimate ancestor of domed architecture worldwide. When you stand inside and look up at the oculus, you're not just looking at a hole in the roof. You're looking at a solution that has defeated every structural challenge for 2,000 years. You're looking at the reason this building refused to be a ruin. It survived not just the barbarians, but the very force of time and gravity itself. It is quite simply the building that wouldn't die. The Pantheon's inscription, M. Agrippa LF Causium Tertium Fecit, translates to Marcus Agrippa, son of Lucius, consul for the third time built it. This is one of the world's most deliberate cases of misattribution. Hadrian, in a gesture of humility or clever politics, chose to permanently honor the original builder, Agrippa, even though the building we see today is almost entirely Hadrian's design, built a century and a half later. What part of the Pantheon's incredible story surprised you the most? The concrete genius, the survival as a church, or the bronze theft? Let me know in the comments below. Building a normal roof is easy. Building a roof that spans over 1,000 feet with absolutely zero support pillars is an engineering nightmare. One tiny math mistake and thousands of tons of steel will come crashing down. Today, we are stepping inside the top 10 largest domes ever constructed. You will see a massive titanium echo chamber that ruins concerts, and a Soviet science experiment that ended in total disaster. But what is the bizarre, high-flying secret hiding in the ceiling of the #1 largest dome on the planet? Let us find out, starting at number 10. Number 10. The Tropical Islands Dome in Germany. This colossal structure spans 210 meters across. Originally constructed as a mega hangar designed to manufacture gigantic cargo blimps, the creators dreamed of massive airships transporting goods globally. But that dream collapsed, leaving behind an empty steel shell that enclosed 5 million cubic meters of space. Instead of tearing it down, a visionary buyer transformed this industrial cavern into a surreal indoor rainforest. Today, thousands of visitors swim in a massive artificial ocean and walk on sandy beaches, entirely trapped inside a dome large enough to fit the Eiffel Tower laying on its side. Leaving the surreal rainforests of Germany, we travel to the scorching deserts of Saudi Arabia to find a record-breaking marvel. Number 9. The Jeddah Superdome in Saudi Arabia. Spanning 210 meters across, it ties our number 10 spot. However, it holds the Guinness World Record for the largest continuous, non-openable roof on the planet. Built in record time during the global pandemic, it is a massive geodesic dome, relying on a highly efficient web of interconnected metal triangles to distribute its weight without needing a single support pillar inside. The massive metal frame was covered with a specialized fabric, creating a vast, uninterrupted event space covering over 34,000 square meters. It proves monumental engineering does not always require decades. Moving from the Middle East, we cross the Asian continent to find a shiny fortress sitting on the Japanese coast. Number 8. The Fukuoka Dome in Japan. Spanning 212 meters, this is a heavyweight champion. The roof alone weighs a mind-boggling 12,000 tons. Why so heavy? The entire surface is coated in pure titanium to fight off the highly corrosive, salt-heavy ocean winds. But that brilliant defense mechanism created a massive problem. The pure titanium roof turns the entire stadium into a gigantic echo chamber. During loud concerts, the sound bounces off the metal ceiling so aggressively that music turns into a chaotic mess. Fixing this acoustic nightmare is incredibly expensive. You might think they could just open the roof, but the heavy titanium design is so inefficient that it costs around $10,000 just to open and close it once. Moving from a deafening echo chamber to a bizarrely open air concept, we travel north to the Sayama Hills. Number 7. The Seibu Dome in Japan, stretching 220 meters wide. Most domes are built from the ground up as one completely sealed room, but the Seibu Dome actually started its life as an ordinary open-air baseball stadium tucked into a hillside. After seeing their games washed out by rainstorms, the owners wanted a roof. But the existing concrete seats would literally crumble under standard heavy support columns. Construction crews built massive metallic rings on the outside perimeter over 2 years. They slowly pushed these rings inward, hovering in mid-air until they locked together. Incredibly, they left the walls completely open. There is a huge, continuous gap between the top of the grandstands and the floating roof. Natural breezes blow right through the crowd, and a batter with enough power can actually hit a baseball right out of the stadium entirely. But before we keep climbing our list, here is a quick hint. Number 6 is strange. But wait until you hear about the massive floating grass field in number 5. By the way, if you are enjoying the video, kindly like and subscribe. It really helps out. Leaving the breezy walls of Japan, we fly to Jiangsu province to witness a massive robotic spider. Number 6. The Nantong Sports Center in China. Spanning 240 meters across, this facility looks like a colossal metallic spider. The roof is split into 2 gigantic movable shells, and each half weighs over 1,100 tons. When the operators open the sky, they rely on a brutal, heavy-duty hydraulic propulsion system. Imagine 8 massive mechanical winches driven by pure fluid pressure, slowly dragging thousands of tons of steel across 44 heavy-capacity trolleys. It takes 20 exact minutes to open the dome fully. Amazingly, operating this system costs a mere 800 Chinese yuan per cycle, but this stadium completely lacks solid outer walls. It was designed to block heavy rain, but it lets the ambient temperature and sweeping winds blow right through the 32,244 seats. Traveling from China back to the freezing north of Japan, we find a stadium that performs a magic trick. Number 5. The Sapporo Dome. Spanning 245 meters, this structure is a masterpiece of kinetic architecture. Because local winters bring crushing snow, a sliding roof would jam and collapse. So, engineers built a permanently fixed roof coated in rough asphalt to keep deadly sheets of ice from sliding off onto pedestrians. But the real magic happens at ground level. Professional soccer strictly requires natural grass, which cannot survive inside a dark dome. The solution? They grow the massive soccer pitch outdoors on a giant metal and concrete tray weighing 8,300 tons. When game day arrives, high-powered air pumps blast wind underneath the tray, literally hovering the thousands of tons of dirt and grass. 34 motorized wheels then slowly drive the floating grass field inside the stadium. It takes 25 minutes for the field to slide into place, creating a perfect playing surface. Moving away from floating grass, we journey to a tight riverbank in the United Kingdom. Number 4. The Principality Stadium in Wales. Stretching 272 meters wide, this massive arena was squeezed right onto the banks of a river. The soil was so dangerously unstable near the water that builders had to drive 1,350 concrete pillars deep into the solid bedrock just to keep this massive dome from slowly sinking. The stadium relies on 4 massive 90-meter-tall metal masts that anchor the suspension cables holding everything together. The retractable roof slides open using 212.5 kilometers of highly tensioned steel cables. If you laid the roof cables end to end, they would stretch across the entire country. But hold on tight, because the sheer structural terror happening at our number 2 spot will absolutely blow your mind. Leaving the muddy riverbanks of Wales, we fly back to Japan to witness a stadium that mimics a living creature. Number 3. The Resonac Dome Oita. With an incredible span of 274 meters, nicknamed the Big Eye, this dome was designed to look and behave like a living biological organism. Architects call this the Japanese metabolist movement, which advocates for buildings emulating natural life cycles. The main roof is a giant spherical cap made from a highly durable translucent fabric. It acts like a giant glowing lantern, catching natural sunlight and diffusing it perfectly across the entire interior volume. Even when the roof is tightly closed to keep the rain out, the inside is completely bathed in bright natural light. When the weather clears up, the fabric panels mechanically slide downward from the top center towards the edges, visually mimicking a colossal human eye slowly opening to stare directly up into the sky. Transitioning from a glowing eye to a monstrous powerhouse of American football, we head deep into Texas. Number 2. The AT&T Stadium, spanning 275 meters of pure, terrifying structural power. To build a room holding over 100,000 screaming football fans, you absolutely cannot have a single pillar blocking their view. Engineers designed 2 monumental metal arches spanning 1,225 feet from one end to the other. Massive concrete abutments buried deep underground are the only things stopping the arches from flattening out. These gigantic curved spines shoot nearly 300 feet into the air. They bear the entire burden of a 14,000-ton steel roof all by themselves. But the most terrifying challenge was the giant television screen. The billionaire owners hung a 1.2 million pound video board directly from the roof trusses. Imagine a metal box weighing as much as 3 jumbo jets dangling on thin steel cables exactly 90 feet directly over the players' heads. Scorching Texas heat causes massive steel arches to expand, and high winds push the building around. If the roof sways even a little, that giant video board could start swinging like a deadly pendulum. To prevent disaster, engineers invented incredibly complex active shock absorbers to keep the screen perfectly still while the giant dome flexes and breathes. Incredibly, it is still not the biggest on our list. Leaving Texas heat to the pinnacle of modern engineering, we arrive at the equator for our final destination. Number 1. The Singapore National Stadium, a world record holding 310 meters in diameter. You could take the entire Sydney Opera House, drop it completely inside this cavernous space, and still have plenty of room to walk around the edges. Building a free-spanning dome this unfathomably large is like trying to balance a massive, delicate eggshell made of interlaced steel. Structural engineers used a super advanced, highly tensioned concrete ring beam that locks the incredibly thin metal roof pieces together. Sitting on the equator, the extreme tropical heat and suffocating humidity would normally turn a sealed dome of this size into an absolute oven. Instead, engineers designed the dome to act like a giant, intelligent wind tunnel. The exterior shape captures natural ocean breezes and funnels them inside. Meanwhile, special mechanical vents pump ice-cold air directly underneath every single spectator seat. This ingenious system keeps people perfectly cool, while allowing the vast upper atmosphere to remain naturally hot, saving immense amounts of electricity. And remember that open loop from the beginning? The true secret lies high up in the ceiling. A colossal third of this record-breaking roof is fully retractable, gliding open silently on heavy-duty steel ropes. Maintaining this behemoth is a terrifying job. Because of the vast web of roof trusses, you cannot just use a simple crane to wipe it down. It takes a highly specialized team of rope-climbing daredevils an entire year, dangling freely 80 meters in the air, just to wash the roof once. This facility single-handedly redefines the physical limits of human engineering, claiming the undisputed crown as the biggest dome on Earth.
A single ancient tomb hidden deep beneath the earth. Above it, a building so massive it could swallow the Statue of Liberty whole. This isn't a modern skyscraper. It's a masterpiece of engineering that took over a century to build, nearly breaking the greatest minds in history. This is St. Peter's Basilica, located in Vatican City, the smallest country in the world, right in the heart of Rome. It is the centerpiece of the Catholic faith and arguably the most famous church on the planet. It's a structure built on sheer ambition, artistry, and incredible determination. But to understand why this giant exists, we have to travel back nearly 2,000 years. Tradition says that St. Peter, one of the original apostles of Jesus, was martyred and buried right here on Vatican Hill. Around the year 326, the Roman Emperor Constantine built a huge church over the tomb to honor him. That church, known as Old St. Peter's, stood for over 1,000 years. But by the 1500s, it was a disaster. The walls were leaning dangerously, the roof was leaking, and it was in serious danger of collapsing. Enter Pope Julius II. He was ambitious, powerful, and he refused to let the most important church in Christendom fall apart. In 1506, he made a radical decision: tear down the ancient sacred building and start over. He didn't just want a replacement, he wanted the biggest, most spectacular structure the world had ever seen. The first architect, Donato Bramante, envisioned a structure based on a perfect Greek cross, equal length on all 4 sides, topped by a dome that would rival the ancient Roman Pantheon. But there was a massive problem. Nobody really knew how to build something this large anymore. The secrets of Roman engineering had been lost. The main piers, the massive legs meant to hold up the dome, weren't strong enough. What followed was a construction saga that lasted for 120 years. Architects were hired, fired, or died on the job. Bramante passed away. The famous painter Raphael took over, but he wasn't an engineer. The plans changed constantly. For decades, the basilica was just a chaotic, half-finished construction site with a gaping hole in the roof. The project needed a hero, and it found one in the legendary Michelangelo. Yes, the genius who painted the Sistine Chapel. By the time he took charge in 1547, he was already 71 years old. He didn't even want the job, but he saw the mess and decided to fix it. He strengthened the supporting piers and focused on the main challenge, the dome. Michelangelo designed a dome that remains to this day the tallest on Earth, rising over 450 feet from the floor. To support the immense weight, he used a brilliant trick. He designed two domes. Think of it like two eggshells, one nested inside the other. This double shell design made the structure incredibly strong, but relatively light. Michelangelo died before his masterpiece was finished, but his assistants followed his detailed models exactly. When the final stone was placed, the skyline of Rome was changed forever. Hey everyone! If you are enjoying the video and this journey into how this incredible structure was built, kindly like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us bring more mega projects to life. With the structure complete, it was time to decorate. If Michelangelo built the bones of St. Peter's, the artist Gian Lorenzo Bernini gave it its soul. When you step inside, the scale is hard to comprehend. The church is over 600 feet long. Statues that look normal from a distance are actually 20 feet tall. Bernini's most breathtaking contribution is the baldacchino. It's that massive twisted bronze canopy standing right over the main altar directly above St. Peter's tomb. It looks big, but up close it's gigantic, nearly 95 feet tall. That's the height of a 9-story building inside another building. Bernini also designed the spectacular piazza or square outside. He created the massive colonnades, those two semicircles of giant stone columns, 284 of them. Bernini designed them to look like the welcoming arms of the church, reaching out to embrace the world. St. Peter's Basilica wasn't just a building project, it was a century-long obsession. It pushed the boundaries of engineering and redefined what humans thought was possible to construct, creating a wonder of the world that still inspires awe today. Six doorways through time. From a quiet backstreet chapel to the colossal heart of Christendom, this is Rome's faith written in stone, gold, and glass. We'll start small and grow to the vast. 6 stops, 6 survivors of centuries, each one a chapter in how belief became architecture. First, Santa Pudenziana. From the street, it's modest. Step inside and the apse hits you like thunder. Christ sits enthroned, flanked by the apostles, a jeweled sky behind him. Art historians often consider this the earliest surviving apse mosaic in a Roman church, crafted around the turn from the 4th to the 5th century. The faces are solemn. The cityscape behind them echoes ancient Rome. It's Christianity speaking the visual language of empire, authority, permanence, order. Watch how the gold tesserae catch the light. In an era when the city reeled from upheaval, this image reads like a pledge. The story endures. Second, Santa Costanza. We trade the basilica plan for a perfect circle. This rotunda began as a 4th century mausoleum for Constantina, daughter of Constantine the Great. Later it became a church. Walk the ring-shaped ambulatory and lift your eyes. The vault blooms with vine scrolls and harvest scenes. Grapes, baskets, little figures treading wine. Classical motifs given Christian meaning. The air has a soft echo. Light slips in from the side. Everything pulls you inward. This is memory architecture, a space made for circling, for reverence, for the long attention of prayer. It stands at a crossroads where pagan imagery meets a new spiritual language. Third, Santa Sabina on the Aventine Hill. Here, the early Christian basilica survives almost intact. A bright nave, 2 calm aisles, a measured rhythm of columns, daylight filtering through thin panes of translucent stone, selenite rather than modern glass. The room feels open, legible, nearly modern in its restraint. At the entrance hang cypress wood doors from the same era. Among their carved panels is what scholars widely regard as the earliest extant public depiction of the crucifixion, Christ between the 2 thieves, rendered with spare power. It's as much declaration as image. In Santa Sabina, the basilica form, born in imperial audience halls, becomes a template for worship that will echo for centuries. If you're enjoying this journey so far, kindly like and subscribe. It helps us bring you more deep dive stories like this. Fourth, Santa Maria Maggiore, on the Esquiline Hill. The scale grows, and so does the ambition. Step into the nave and you stand inside one of the most important surviving programs of early Christian mosaics. Along the walls, Old Testament scenes unfold in glittering glass. The triumphal arch proclaims Christ and the Virgin in a blaze of color. This is 5th century visual theology from the age of Pope Sixtus III, in the wake of the Council of Ephesus that affirmed Mary as Mother of God. Look up and the centuries stack above you. The coffered wooden ceiling, added in the Renaissance, is gilded, according to long-standing tradition, with the first gold brought from the Americas. Underfoot, medieval cosmotesque patterns tessellate the floor in marble geometry. It's less a single moment than a timeline of Rome, layered into one interior. Fifth, San Paolo fuori le mura, St. Paul outside the walls. We cross beyond the ancient city limits to a basilica raised over the burial place of the Apostle Paul. Founded in the 4th century and enlarged in the age of Theodosius and Honorius, it once rivaled Old St. Peter's. Then, catastrophe. A devastating fire in the 19th century destroyed most of the church in a single night. What stands today is a faithful reconstruction built around surviving cores and carefully measured to match ancient dimensions. Inside, the nave seems to breathe. Repeating bays march in serene rhythm, polished columns catch and carry the light. Above, a chain of papal portraits runs like a timeline from the earliest successors of Peter toward the present day. Step into the cloister and the mood softens. Twisted marble columns, inlaid with glittering stones, spiral under the open sky. A 13th century masterwork by the Vasiletto family of cosmati craftsmen. It's a jewel box of pattern and proportion, a quiet counterpoint to the basilica's monumental calm. Sixth, the largest in our journey, St. Peter's Basilica. This is more than a church, it's a statement in stone. Beneath the high altar lies the site venerated as the tomb of the Apostle Peter, reached through the ancient necropolis that threads under the floor. The present basilica rose in the Renaissance over Constantine's 4th century church, keeping an unbroken line from early Christian Rome to the High Baroque and beyond. Look up. Michelangelo shaped the colossal dome to the drum. Giacomo della Porta carried it to completion near the close of the 16th century, and it has defined Rome's skyline ever since. At the crossing stands Bernini's bronze baldachin, a torrent of twisted columns and winged details rising like a sculpted flame. It binds tomb, altar, and dome into a single axis of meaning, Baroque theater with a theological purpose. Recently, ahead of the Jubilee year, the baldachin underwent a comprehensive restoration, revealing details that glow anew. People often call St. Peter's the largest church in the world by interior measure. Stand beneath that canopy and you feel what largest means. Not only breadth, but presence, scale matched to the story it tells. Name after name, Bramante, Michelangelo, Maderno, Bernini, each left a chapter. The church was consecrated in the early 17th century, and every age since has left a trace. Why trace these six, from the quiet to the colossal? Because together they show how ideas become spaces. Santa Pudenziana captures a new faith adopting the language of empire. Santa Costanza reveals a conversation between classical forms and Christian meaning. Santa Sabina preserves the basilica at its purest, where restraint becomes radiant. Santa Maria Maggiore teaches doctrine in color and light. St. Paul, outside the walls, reminds us that Rome's churches are living things, capable of loss and renewal. And St. Peter's gathers all of it into one breathtaking interior. Early Christian memory, Renaissance vision, Baroque drama, stacked upon the bones of an apostle.
For centuries, humanity has looked to the heavens for inspiration. But some didn't just look, they built. These are not just buildings of stone and glass. They are declarations of faith, marvels of engineering, and impossibly ambitious attempts to touch the divine. These are the 7 tallest churches on earth. Our ascent begins in the heart of Europe, in Vienna, Austria. Here, standing as the city's solemn guardian, is number 7, St. Stephen's Cathedral, reaching a formidable height of 136.7 meters, or 448 feet. Its south tower has dominated the Vienna skyline for over 500 years. Known affectionately by locals as Steffel, This Gothic masterpiece is more than just its height. Its most iconic feature is the dazzling roof, adorned with over 230,000 glazed tiles, arranged in a vibrant mosaic that includes the royal and imperial double-headed eagle. Construction began in the 12th century, and over the ages it has survived wars, sieges, and fires. It stands not just as a house of worship, but as a symbol of Vienna's enduring spirit. From Austria, we journey west into France, to a structure that appears almost too delicate to be real. This is number 6, the Cathedral Notre-Dame de Strasbourg. For over 2 centuries, this was the tallest building in the entire world. Its single, elegant spire soars to an incredible 142 meters or 466 feet. The facade is a breathtaking web of Gothic tracery, so detailed it's often described as looking like delicate lace in stone. Unlike many of its contemporaries, Strasbourg never received a second spire. The plan was there, but the ambitious design proved too difficult for the medieval builders. Yet, this asymmetry gives the cathedral a unique and unforgettable silhouette against the sky, a monument to both artistic genius and human limitation. Our journey now takes us north, back to Germany, to a city that rose from the ashes of history, Hamburg. Here stands a solemn reminder of war's devastation and a testament to resilience. Number 5, St. Nicholas's Church. At its completion in 1874, its spire made it the tallest building in the world. Today, that spire still stands, reaching 147.4 meters or 484 feet into the sky, but the church below it is a ruin. The church was catastrophically bombed during World War II. The nave and sanctuary were obliterated, but the colossal neo-Gothic spire miraculously survived. Instead of tearing it down, the city preserved it as a memorial, a ghost spire that pierces the Hamburg skyline, forever reminding us of the past while pointing towards a peaceful future. Back in France, we arrive in the historic region of Normandy at a cathedral immortalized by the great Impressionist painter Claude Monet. This is number 4, Rouen Cathedral. For a brief period in the late 19th century, this was the world's tallest structure, and its height is still staggering, 151 meters or 495 feet. But what makes Rouen truly unique is its spire. It's not stone, but cast iron. After the original Renaissance spire was destroyed by lightning in 1822, the city made a bold industrial age choice. They commissioned a new spire built from the materials of the future. This fusion of medieval Gothic stone and 19th century iron engineering makes Rouen a fascinating bridge between two different worlds, a canvas for both ancient masons and modern artists. We're about to enter the top 3, the absolute titans of ecclesiastical architecture. These final structures push the limits of what was thought possible. If you're enjoying this architectural journey, take a quick second to support the channel by hitting that like button and subscribing. It helps us bring you more stories of these incredible structures. Now prepare yourself for a true behemoth, a building so vast, so ambitious, that its construction spanned more than 6 centuries. Welcome to number 3, Cologne Cathedral, Germany. This is the largest Gothic church in Northern Europe and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its iconic twin spires soar to a perfectly matched height of 157.4 meters or 516 feet. To understand the scale of this project, consider this. Construction began in the year 1248. It wasn't finished until 1880, 632 years. During World War II, Cologne was flattened by Allied bombing, but the cathedral, though hit multiple times, remained standing while the city around it was reduced to rubble. It stood as a beacon of hope, a testament to the enduring power of its design and the spirit of the people who built it. For our next destination, we leave Europe entirely and travel to a place you might not expect, the city of Yamoussoukro, in the Ivory Coast, Africa. Here, rising above the savannah, is the modern marvel at number 2, the Basilica of Our Lady of Peace. While the other churches on our list are centuries-old Gothic giants, the Basilica is a product of the late 20th century, completed in 1989. Its design was inspired by St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican, but with one key difference: it's taller. Its massive dome, topped with a cross, reaches a breathtaking height of 158 meters, or 518 feet, making it the tallest Catholic church on the planet. Its construction was not without controversy, given its immense cost in a developing nation, but today it stands as a major pilgrimage site and an unparalleled monument of modern faith and architecture, a symbol of a continent's grand vision. We've reached the final stop on our journey, the very pinnacle of church architecture. We return to Germany, to the city of Ulm, to gaze upon the undisputed tallest church in the world. Number 1, Ulm Minster. This is it, the world's highest steeple, topping out at a vertigo-inducing 161.5 meters, or 530 feet. It's so tall, it almost feels like a skyscraper. Technically a Lutheran church and not a cathedral, as it was never the seat of a bishop, its construction tells a story of civic pride. Begun in 1377 and completed in 1890, the project was financed not by kings or popes, but by the citizens of Ulm themselves. And for the brave, the tower is open. You can climb 768 stone steps to a platform near the top, where you are rewarded with a view that, on a clear day, stretches all the way to the Alps. It is a final, staggering testament to the human desire to build something that lasts forever, something that truly reaches for the heavens.
Standing tall yet leaning, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is one of the most iconic structures in the world. But what makes this 12th century marvel so extraordinary? Let's uncover 10 fascinating facts about this architectural wonder. Number 10. Survived multiple earthquakes. The Leaning Tower of Pisa has withstood at least 4 strong earthquakes since 1280. Its survival is attributed to dynamic soil structure interaction, where the height and stiffness of the tower combined with the softness of the foundation soil prevent resonance with earthquake ground motion. Number 9. Architectural features. The tower has 8 stories, including the base and the belfry. It is adorned with 207 marble columns and features a spiral staircase with 251 steps leading to the top. Number 8. A global attraction. The Leaning Tower of Pisa attracts over 5 million visitors annually, making it one of the most visited tourist attractions in the world. Number 7. Modern stabilization efforts. Between 1993 and 2001, engineers removed 70 metric tons of soil from beneath the high side and added lead counterweights to stabilize the tower, reducing its tilt and ensuring its stability for at least 200 years. Number 6. Galileo's gravity experiments. Legend has it that in the late 16th century, Galileo Galilei dropped 2 cannonballs of different masses from the tower to demonstrate that their speed of descent was independent of their mass. Kindly like this video, subscribe to support this channel. Thank you. Number 5. Height variations. The tower stands approximately 56.67 meters on the high side and 55.86 meters on the low side. Its tilt has varied over the centuries, reaching a peak of 5.5 degrees before restoration efforts reduced it to about 3.97 degrees. Number 4. The tower that leaned from the start. As early as 1178, just 5 years after construction commenced, the tower began to tilt due to a shallow foundation and unstable soil, a design flaw that would define its future. Number 3. Saved by strategic pauses. Construction was halted multiple times, allowing the soft soil beneath the tower to settle. These pauses inadvertently prevented the structure from toppling over. Number 2. A century-long construction. Construction of the Leaning Tower of Pisa began in 1173 and spanned nearly 2 centuries, concluding in 1372. This lengthy build was due to various interruptions, including wars and engineering challenges. Number 1. Part of a historic complex. The Leaning Tower is part of the Piazza del Duomo in Pisa, a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1987, which includes the cathedral, baptistry, and cemetery. From its unintended tilt to its architectural brilliance, the Leaning Tower of Pisa continues to captivate and inspire. If you enjoyed this journey into history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories.